He got knocked out of Conor McGregor. On paper, you think, this is an easy fight for Islam Makhachev. But when you dig a little deeper, when you look at the stats, the resumes, the history of these two fighters, well, I'll tell you what, it starts to paint a very, very different picture because, yes, Islam Makhachev is phenomenal and nobody's disrespecting him. That is not what I'm doing here, okay? We're just looking at facts, right? Dustin Poirier said Saturday night, win or lose, this will be the last time that he fights. So as I say, if you dig a little deeper when you look at their records, you can start to form an opinion on why potentially Dustin Poirier is going to win this. Dustin the Diamond Poirier is going to finish his career as the undisputed champion of the world. Hear me out. Listen, 25-1. He's one loss. He was knocked out in the first round, 1 minute 46 off a little right hook from a southpaw stance against Adriano Martins. But when you start to look at Dustin Poirier's record, my God, right? This is a man that's earned it the hard way.
Na realidade tem uma junção, né? É muito bom pra mim, porque me coloca muito mais próximo dos meus fãs, né? Isso é importante, diferente do Instagram, Twitter e entre outras redes sociais, que você vai, posta ali, você comenta se você quer. Aqui no OnlyFans não.
За Поirier давно слежу. В плане ударной техники, да, у него такая своеобразная манера ведения боя. Знаешь, Ислам не то что не уступает ему, он будет личные удары, если так практически, если не обдуманно, будет бросаться. В этом плане Ислам превосходит его. Если даже их взять, убрать в сторону борьбу, мое мнение, что Ислам даже чисто в боксе перейдет, в тайском боксе. Нет таких аспектов, где Ислам не уступает.
In this fight, I like Dustin, but in this fight, I think there is more chances on the side of Islam.
Well, we've both been in there with Khabib already, so we have an idea. They're obviously not the same fighter, they don't fight the same styles, but they are both really heavy grappling. But you really just got to trust in your ability to grapple for the whole fight. If your cardio is there, and you can survive those attacks, then eventually you're going to get back to the feet and be able to cause damage if you're in good enough shape.
You never count Dustin out, so you can do that, but he's definitely up against it. Dustin got hands. Dustin can put anybody out. So anybody at 155, he can put them out. So.
Hey, Islam, are you underestimating? Are you looking past? Are you not aware of the problem that Dustin Poirier presents? And Islam said, no way, brother. That is an exact quote. He says he does get it. That the only reason he hadn't been calling out Islam, or I apologize, that Islam hadn't called out Dustin, he just didn't think Dustin could return to the number one contendership. It wasn't that he overlooked him or didn't respect him as an opponent. He said, I didn't think Dustin could get back here. But after he gets a knockout over St. Denis, according to Islam himself, he knows he's in for a war.
I don't necessarily think he's overlooking Dustin. I do believe that he knows the threat that's in front of him. But I do believe that he's extremely confident that he can get the job done. And it's in this response. Brother, every time Dustin Poirier gets into the tough fights, you know who does believe that Islam Makhachev is looking past him? Is Dustin Poirier. And I know Islam's been great, but to make him that big a favorite over Poirier, to me, seems like a lot.
I hope so. The Dustin will win the fight because Mateusz Gamrot is his sparring partner, so he's got, very good support. Okay, Islam.
It might, this version of Dustin Poirier, I'm talking about him like he doesn't exist as a person. Apologies, Dustin, it's not what I'm intending. What I'm saying is that we need to see other skills in Dustin Poirier's game in order for him to beat Makhachev. Counter wrestling, aggressive submission attacks. Like, Makhachev, of course, is happy to be on the floor. When he was on the floor with Oliveira, he was in control until Oliveira started to threaten with attacks, and that's where Makhachev like, no, I'm not playing this game. Dustin Poirier's got submission attacks. The downside is that Dustin Poirier's submission attacks are usually the things that end him up on the floor in the first place. They're both going to try and eat that lead leg up, but the difference is Makhachev can wrestle through that range. If Dustin Poirier starts throwing those calf kicks, he's vulnerable not only to the counter punching but the wrestling. If Makhachev starts throwing those kicks at Poirier, Poirier's most likely not going to try and counter with wrestling. That would be a new skill set to his game, which is what I'm talking about.
I think this is still a great fight. Obviously, Islam's a massive favourite. I think it's just Islam's going to be too good. I think he's too safe of a fighter to make mistakes where he's going to get caught against someone like Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is a great fighter. I just think, it's just a hard fight for anybody. So, and I don't see anyone beating Islam for a while, unless they catch him, right? The only way I see, this is how I have always been in my division. I've always said, anyone has a puncher's chance, right? Anyone can catch you. But that was the only way I ever saw myself losing. Is he going to go the guillotine? Do I think the guillotine's going to be there for Dustin? Yeah, it might be there. But, think of the amount of times people have tried to put Islam in the guillotine. I guarantee you, he's been there in this camp. He would have done hours and hours of defense there. So I just don't see that pulling off. Again, I think he's too calculated. I don't see that happening. Islam will be, prepared for this, ready for this. I don't think he's going to take too much risk on the feet because Dustin Poirier's got great hands, got great striking. I don't think he's going to play that. Can he get the finish, Islam? And again, this is no disrespect to Dustin. I think he's a great fighter. Again, this is always hard because I like all the fighters. I've got to pick a winner. But I think Islam is that good where it's going to be a finish. I think it's going to be a submission finish. Is it in the later rounds or can he get it done straight away? Can he get on top, work him, Poirier on his way to getting up, getting wrapped up, rear naked choke? We have seen that. Again, gamble responsibly. If you are going to pick Islam, I think you have to go with finish. I think you would definitely go with Dustin's tough. You ain't going to TKO him there. I don't think. I think it's going to be a submission.